Before that, though, Davante Adams, uh, breaking his silence. He hasn't said much in recent weeks. Not many Packers players have said much since the OTAs ended. He had some interviews that he did a while ago, but now he's saying that the Aaron Rodgers situation is not something that the Packers players talk about. It's not something we truly talk about like that. Everybody's been dialed into what they've got to do. There's enough to worry about with themselves than to be going and worrying about what other guys are doing and what their situation is like, especially when we can't control any of that. And I know some people react to that by saying, oh, baloney, of course they're talking about it. But you quickly get to a point where there isn't anything to say. They're not in the news gathering, dissemination, and analysis business. For them, they probably get sick of it real quick. If there's nothing new, there's nothing to talk about. Right?
Yeah, exactly right. I think you said it right. If it's not in the news cycle or some of it hasn't been flushed out, or whatever, they're not going to talk about it. Like, I'm sure there was a lot of chatter, when the draft pick happened and Jordan Love and guys sending text messages and having some quiet, conversations in a private place in the locker room about, like, can you believe they did that and all that. Of course they're having, like, little conversations this offseason here and there. But, like, I think what Davante Adams is saying and to what you're saying, it's not consuming them. They're not, like, all in the having a gossip party in the locker room during OTAs a few weeks ago talking about, like, man, what do you think will happen next? I heard Rodgers said this, and I heard Gutekunst said that. So it's not that way. When you walk into an NFL locker room, hey, on a day like that, they probably looked around. Davante Adams probably asked the receiver, hey, did you see 12? And they said nope. And then they just go on. Okay, we got a wide receiver meeting in 15 minutes. We got to go in there. And you start to go into football mode and just worry about yourself and what you got to do for the day.
Do you think Davante Adams has asked Aaron Rodgers point blank, will you be here for camp? And do you think Rodgers has told him?
Yes, I do think he's probably asked him point blank. And yes, I do feel like Rodgers has told him. Now, Rodgers, I think, I don't know, maybe not. Yeah, I would think that happened. Yes. Yes. I don't know. Adams isn't going to say what his conversation was with Rodgers or anything like that. But, man, I would have a hard time thinking, like, if it's Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison or, Brady and Wes Welker or, and not that I could speak to this, but just a little, like, if it was me and Joey Galloway in my 1 year of starting as a quarterback. And if I had that type of issue, if he called me in July or June and was like, hey, man, you're still going to be there in training camp, I'd probably, hey, yeah, I'm going to give them a little bit more of a hard time, but I'll be there, man. I'm going to be there. Yeah, I would think that conversation has gone down between two guys who have pretty good chemistry and relationship.
And it makes sense, right? Yeah. Think about any other job. Think about this here. If there was some issue that you had or I had, and it wasn't clear whether one of us was going to still be around, at some point, there's going to be a conversation.
Yeah.
So the other one who is directly affected by the presence or absence of the other will have an idea of what the hell life is going to be like. And when you're talking about being the guy who catches the footballs that are thrown by the quarterback, there is a definite and urgent need to know what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah,
do I need to go hang out with Jordan Love over the next 6 weeks and get more acquainted with catching passes for him? Do I need to get together with Aaron Rodgers? And, we've heard nothing about any of that stuff either. And maybe they're all being very quiet. But, even if Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to show his face in Green Bay, and even if he wants to send some sort of message to Mark Murphy, Brian Gutekunst, whoever, this is the time that we're slipping into where quarterbacks and their receivers will make time to get together to just polish some things up so they're ready to hit the ground running at training camp. We've heard nothing about Rodgers getting together with Adams and the rest of the receivers,
right,
or Jordan Love getting together with Adams and the rest of the receivers.
Well, I would think that we would hear something like that here in the next, 2 weeks for sure. Like someone out of the Rodgers camp or one of these receivers lets it be known. Unless, unless Rodgers wants to play some games still to where he doesn't want that released, I don't know, to maybe just still – make Gutekunst and Mark Murphy, uncomfortable and still not knowing what he might do. But at that point, that seems like games and unnecessary. So I would imagine that we hear something like that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.